Decisive power. Naoya Inoue, the baby-faced assassin, possesses it in abundance. His punches land with the finality of a verdict, and in round 5 of one of his many violent symphonies, another left hand drops yet another opponent. Inoue doesn't just box, he imposes himself. With that being said, many of his adversaries forget their manners when the monster enters the ring. After that final bell rings, there's no confusion over who the real daddy was. Champion of the world, this is fighting ice art. Let's go on the 13th of December 2022, at the Ariake Arena in Tokyo, Japan. The monster returned for a fight that had the entire venue buzzing. The Japanese destroyer had already conquered the 2018 to 2019 World Boxing Super Series, where he ran through elite opposition with ferocious intent. Every flurry, every knockout, calculated brutality. And then came the undisputed showdown. Inoue was up against British fighter Paul Butler, the WBO bantamweight titleholder. Butler had amassed a professional record of 32 wins and only 2 losses, and he hadn't tasted defeat in his last 8 bouts. Despite being a sizable underdog, the fighter from Cheshire came with hopes of an upset. The monster, in contrast, was putting his own WBA, WBC, IBF, and the ring bantamweight titles on the line. This wasn't just a title defense, it was a unification bout. Whoever emerged victorious would be crowned the undisputed bantamweight champion of the world. Making the bantamweight limit of 118 pounds was always a taxing process for Inoue, and Butler's camp gambled on his stamina fading in the later rounds. The Brit's strategy was to survive the early storm, then capitalize late. Leading up to the fight, Butler was dismissive of the Japanese star's hype. But what unfolded inside the ropes was anything but a close contest. It was a masterclass. With the opening bell, Inoue began dishing out punishment. His power, precision, and variety were on full display. Once Butler felt the first clean connection, his game plan fell apart. Gone was the defiant pre-fight energy. It was replaced by high-guarded survival. He turned defensive, shelling up like a turtle and rarely committing to any offense. Whenever he tried, he was met with blistering countershots. The monster had him flinching at every movement, running laps around the ring in a desperate attempt to evade. Butler spent most of the bout behind a high guard, doing well to protect his liver, one of Inoue's favorite targets. Still, that only delayed the inevitable. Inoue slipped into the matrix. He was seeing everything. He threw with no remorse. Despite the Brits' refusal to engage, Inoue turned up the pressure, cutting off the ring and refusing to let him breathe. Then came the showboating, the Ollie shuffle, Roy Jones-style taunts, and Tyson head movement. Inoue was in full control, even as he entertained the crowd. The roaring cheers of the Tokyo audience. Inoue continued his onslaught. He played peekaboo with his opponent, only instead of hiding, he was unleashing punishment. At the start of the 11th round, it all came to a climax. The crowd knew what was coming. Inoue exploded with renewed aggression. A heavy right hand shook Butler to his core, and what followed was a series of devastating combinations. A right, then a left. It was too much. Butler collapsed in a heap. So close to the final bell, yet so far. The baby-faced assassin's tank had run dry, and he was forced to surrender. It was a beating meant for several men, condensed into a single punishing bout. That 11th round knockout ended Butler's 8-fight win streak and handed him his first loss in nearly a decade. But for Inoue, it was another day in the office. It was a performance that reminded the boxing world who he was, a force of nature. But Inoue's legend wasn't built in just one fight. On another memorable night, he made his American debut at the famed StubHub Center. The opponent was Antonio Nieves, and this was to be the monster's 6th defense of his WBO super flyweight title. While Nieves walked into the ring draped in the symbols of his homeland, Inoue appeared like an executioner from the Dark Ages, cloaked in black and with the demeanor of a man on a mission. From the opening bell, Inoue observed his opponent with the cold eyes of a predator. He tested Nieves with jabs and calculated right hands, quickly finding his rhythm. Nieves, brimming with confidence in front of his home crowd, tried to meet fire with fire. But Inoue was a different beast. In the second round, he unleashed an onslaught, hammering his opponent with damaging rights and sickening lefts to the body. His punches sounded like sacks of cement slamming into flesh. Nieves attempted to respond, but Inoue's combinations overwhelmed him. With each exchange, it was clear who was the superior technician, puncher, and athlete. The monster's footwork, timing, and ferocity won over the American crowd. In round 3, he hit another gear. Turbo mode. Huge combinations crashed into Nieves's head and body. A beautiful uppercut followed by a body shot crumpled the American fighter in round 5. Successive hooks sent Nieves to the canvas. It was then that reality hit. The American had severely underestimated his opponent. After beating the count, he tried to fight back, but Inoue showed no mercy. His relentless bodywork left Nieves looking like a broken man. Gasping, clenching, and holding on in the 6th round, Inoue began to taunt his opponent, mocking the trash talk that had preceded the fight. "Come to me," he gestured, daring Nieves to engage. But there was nothing left in Nieves. The referee had seen enough. The accumulation of damage was brutal and one-sided. Nieves's corner threw in the towel, saving their man from long-term harm. It was a wise decision. By the end of the bout, Inoue had thoroughly converted the American crowd. Any doubts about the Japanese fighter were buried beneath the sheer dominance of his performance. But this was not the first time a fighter had underestimated the monster due to his nationality. In 2018, a British fighter named Jamie McDonnell learned a similar lesson. During the build-up to their bout, McDonnell dismissed Inoue, even mocking the pronunciation of his name. "I can't pronounce his first name. I just call him Inoue," he had joked. That joke didn't age well. McDonnell, standing 6 feet tall, attempted to use his reach advantage, keeping it long with jabs. But once Inoue found his rhythm, the range didn't matter. The Japanese fighter began slipping through McDonnell's guard with increasing ease. Then came the barrage, a fury of punches against the ropes that knocked the Brit down. After the second knockdown, it was clear McDonnell was finished. He had no answer for the precision and power of his opponent. The referee waved it off. The monster had arrived in a 3rd weight class, announcing his presence with a thunderous finish. Inoue's dominance continued against other opponents, such as Juan Carlos Peano and Yon Boyos. Against Boyos, Inoue opened with his patented left hook. Every punch sounded like a blunt instrument, heavy and unforgiving. A furious exchange followed, and as Boyos tried to escape, he was caught with a left hand that stiffened him like a board. He was saved by the bell, but it was only a temporary reprieve. In the 3rd round, Inoue pressed the gas again. A left hook to the body got a roar from the crowd. Then another. This one landed flush and forced Boyos to a knee. The pain was visible. He had been split open internally. As Inoue moved in for the finish, Boyos folded, unable to continue. The referee stepped in, waving off the contest. It was a merciful end. With every fight, Naoya Inoue has not only maintained his nickname, the Monster, but also lived up to it. There's a rare clarity in the way he boxes. Everything is done with purpose. Every punch is set up by another. Every movement, subtle but meaningful. He combines the precision of a surgeon with the brutality of a street fighter. And yet, outside the ring, he remains humble, quiet, and disciplined. Critics once questioned whether fighters from Japan could stand atop the global boxing world. Inoue has ended that conversation. He isn't just the best from his country. He's one of the best in the world, period. His record, filled with knockouts and dominant performances, speaks volumes. But more than that, it's the way he dismantles his opponents. The way he adapts mid-fight. The way he refuses to let up until his opponent is no longer standing. From Tokyo to Las Vegas, from the Ariake Arena to the StubHub Center, Inoue has proven time and again that he belongs among boxing's elite. His reign at bantamweight has been nothing short of legendary, and as he moves up in weight, fans and pundits alike wonder, who, if anyone, can stop the monster? That's it for tonight. We've seen brutal knockouts, technical masterclasses, and unforgettable showboating. The monster has left no doubt. This was Fighting Ice Art. Drop a comment below and let us know which moment was your favorite. Until next time, good night and goodbye.